placed that way because if you saw a chart of the Sefirot, this is what it looks like. Okay, so if the bone represents kindness, kindness is on the right-hand side. Okay, etc. If the three matzot represent wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, right, which in Hebrew is chokhmah, binah, and da'at, that's an acronym for a very famous organization called Chabad. Okay, that's where they got it, from there. Okay, so the three matzot that sit at the top of the plate are like the crown of wisdom, chokhmah, understanding, and knowledge, etc., etc. Now, why is this significant and why is it important? Because what this does essentially to the Seder plate is it transforms it from a vessel that's carrying the various things that we need to conduct the Seder, and it turns it into something sacred, something holy. Okay? Meaning, now that the Seder plate in this order is sitting at my table, what does this represent in its totality? What the Kabbalists call the Shekhinah, the presence of God, the divine presence. That means that the moment I follow this order, which is what all Sfaradim do, follow this order, the placement of the Seder plate on the table is no longer simply an ornament used to carry the lettuce, maror, and the bone, and the egg, and so on. It's now the divine presence is at my table. And many, many Sephardic commentators wrote that when the Seder plate is at the table ordered in this way, that this brings what's called Kedusha, holiness, to the table, to the point where I deeply believe, as do others, that this influenced a tradition that's performed in the Moroccan community. If you turn the page, you'll see something very beautiful. It's a beautiful Moroccan tradition, which I grew up with, which, depending on how many people you have at your Seder, if you're in a Moroccan home, if you have a lot of guests, this could take a good hour before you get going. Okay? All right? Because the Seder, the leader of the Seder, takes the ka'ara, takes the Seder plate, and walks around the entire table with the Seder plate, waving it over each person's head, and then banging them on the head. Okay? Bang. Okay? All right? And they say the kickoff to the Haggadah is, this custom is called bibhilu. Bibhilu is an Aramaic word, which means bimhera, in haste, in hurry. Bibhilu yatzanu mimitzrayim. In a hurry we left Egypt. So as you could see him in this picture, he's putting it over each person's head. Okay? The way we do that is we walk around person by person with the ka'ara, with the Seder plate, and we chant Bibhilu yatzanu mimitzrayim halach ma'anya b'nei chorin. Right? And then again a few times, and you wave it around their head. Now, how did this custom develop? Is because essentially, because of the order of the Seder plate, because this is no longer a plate, these are no longer bones and lettuce and eggs, these are all items that are now corresponding to the Eser Sefirot, to the 10 Sefirot of the Kabbalah. That means that this is not a plate anymore. This is a representation, it's like a talit. It's like taking a talit and blessing somebody. The Seder plate becomes a vessel of Kedusha, of holiness. All these items together form the presence of God shining at your table, and you lift that and you bless each person. Why do we bless them at the very, very beginning? I always asked my father if he knew the reasons why this was done. Most of them don't know. These are traditions that were passed down, and most people I've asked don't know where this tradition comes from. But I asked, why was it done in the beginning of the Seder, not at the end? So my father came up with a very, very beautiful explanation of it. He said, you know what this is essentially like? He said, we don't say a blessing that you should have a safe journey at the end of the journey. He says, in the night of Pesach, it's a journey. We're leaving Egypt again. We're describing the whole leaving Egypt. So it's like we're blessing that you should have a safe journey as we travel through this experience again. So it's by taking the Seder plate and beginning with that, you're blessing each individual and giving them like a tefillat haderech, because Pesach is a journey. The experience, it's a story about one major journey that we all collectively experienced as a nation, and it's also the story, as we said earlier, of multiple journeys that happened in various lands and in various countries. And so this is one of the most beautiful traditions, I think. It's very easy to follow, it's very simple. If you don't remember the words, I'd be happy to record it for you. It's a few words, and the tune is very simple, and it's something very beautiful to adopt into your Seder irrespective.